Here's a quick video on how I store my cards for Resident Evil deck building. If you're going to use Mercenaries, that's the most ideal box to use your storage for. If you are going to use any of the other sets, it's not going to be coming with this divider in the middle. I no longer use the Mercenary box to store my cards in. I now just hold the manuals here, my original deck box that I 3D printed, and I use this mostly for storing old card sleeves, just in case I need them later. Because I plan to make more cards for this game, I bought this GameGenix dungeon. It's supposed to hold 1,000 cards, magnets properly. For weapon cards, for action cards, I'll usually have them as one color. So the color I chose was black. It's the most basic color. I like having anything that's going to be played on the field as black. So there are a couple of the tokens that you find from the mansion that are in here that are also black. For the mansion cards, I chose to go with red. Having multiple colors in a setup like this makes setup a lot easier and cleanup a lot easier because they're all color coded. You can obviously tell, okay, this is a mansion card. Depending on what you're going to do, you can have dividers in these little sidekick boxes as well. You can either buy more, if you can 3D print them, cool, whatever's ideal for you. I plan to print more of these in the future so that I can have all the mansions separated. Depends on how you like to play. What my friends and I do, we'll usually do a horde mode, which consists of just having all the cards in play, but we'll separate them in like maybe 9 different mansions, just willy-nilly. The last game we played, we separated all the bosses so that each mansion has one boss. Once that mansion boss has been killed, the entire mansion collapses. You don't have to bother. I've left a card out. You don't have to bother going back into that mansion if you don't want to. If you could loot for the item cards, then go for it. But the main thing is that we're trying to kill the bosses as fast as we can. I have these specific GameGenix Squire boxes for tokens and other things, tokens and dice. I got these on Amazon for $8 and now they are $26. I wish I bought more of them. I have the rare cards separated into some of these just to try to keep them with very minimal damage, and they're holding up really well. The second box over here, I like to separate with the knives and the health, just so it's easier to set up. These are also in black. The skill cards I like to keep in red, but it's a separate color than the mansion card because these are in burgundy. And then the character cards I like to keep in holographic red. Obviously, I may have used too much red. You can choose what you like. Here are the 2 tokens, like I said, since they're going to be in here for a while until you find them in the mansion. They're just going to stay black. But the actual tokens that are in the mansion are red because they are in the mansion. For the infected cards, I like having them separate from the actual character cards, so I keep these in the Dragon Eye holographics. The way I like to set up my box, just so that it's easier for setting up from each game to game. Oh, don't want to ruin my cards. I'll separate all the weapons here, here. All the action cards are here and here. All my money is here. And then this slot over here is specifically for starter decks. I know traditionally, well, for the manual, they tell you to separate certain special weapons. What I'll usually do is just have the basic ammunitions, 7, 2 knives, and then handgun. But since I have all the expansions, what I like to do is have 4 normal, 0 ammunition, 3 of the enhanced 0 ammunition, 1 reliable blade, 1 combat knife, and then a normal handgun. I have this same for up to 8 players, I believe. So I'll keep them all in this corner over here. The more and more I get more and more cards due to making my own expansion, the more and more I'll configure this. But as of right now, this is just how I have my setup. So starter decks, money, weapons, actions, mansion cards, tokens, and then the rest are character cards, the skills, pretty much everything else that is needed for initial setup. So the first box I'll be grabbing is this one. I'll separate these cards. I'll hand these out and tell everyone to start picking 2 cards for their character, and then start picking 2 cards for their skills. And that's how I set up my storage box to optimize the time it takes for me to start and end each game. Yep.